Airblown inflatables, the classic holiday decoration that has dominated homes all across the country for over 20 years now. Of course, since some of them are old, you may notice that half of them don't inflate like they used to, and you're probably thinking about throwing it away and getting a completely new one. Stop! Do not throw your vintage classic inflatable away. There's actually a reason and a cause as to why your inflatable isn't inflating strongly anymore. And I'm here to talk to you on how you can get your worn out Airblown inflatable restored and be used again for many more future seasons. Airblown inflatables are made of a weatherproof nylon material that's cut up and made into the shape of a certain character. Pumpkins, Santa Claus, Easter bunnies, and even popular licensed characters like Mickey Mouse and SpongeBob. But in the manufacturing process, the fabric has an additional coating applied to it to help keep air sealed inside the airblown and maintain its shape. And depending on where the inflatable is stored, chances are the coating may start to melt off, leaving certain sections of the fabric porous and allowing air to escape through those areas as well. This in turn will cause the inflatable to sag and not stand up straight. But there are times when the item's fabric seems perfectly fine regardless, and that's because the coating, while not melted off, is starting to get thin and again allow air to seep through the fabric itself more easily. But how can you tell that the inflatable's coating is melting, but it looks perfectly fine anyway? Try taking a portion of the inflatable's fabric and rubbing it together against your fingers or hands. If you start to see the internal wiring and light bulb casing of the inflatable after you've rubbed that portion, then the coating is starting to melt. If not, then that portion of the inflatable's fabric is just fine. It's recommended that you thoroughly inspect the inflatable's fabric all over for any and all portions where the coating is melting off. You'll want to be sure to remove as much of the bad coating as possible so that it can be patched up with a new coating. After you have successfully removed all of the bad coating off of the fabric of your air-blown inflatable, you'll have to paint over those areas with Flex Seal Liquid Clear. Flex Seal, as described on the can, is an easy-to-use rubberized coating that's durable, weatherproof, and prevents leaks of all kinds and can be used on a variety of surfaces. So based on this information, it would appear that Flex Seal Liquid Clear is the solution to fixing worn-out inflatables. It's recommended that you have your inflatable plugged in while doing this, to help locate the thin see-through spots that need to be patched up, but you can also apply Flex Seal to the inflatable while it's deflated, if you wish. But once your inflatable is plugged in and the fan is blowing air, inspect the inflatable's fabric from all angles and locate any and all portions where the internal lights and wiring are visible. Take a chip paintbrush and paint over those portions as thoroughly as possible. Please note that Flex Seal Liquid Clear will take about 12 hours to dry. Leave the fan running for a maximum of 8 hours to give the Flex Seal a fair amount of time to mend into the inflatable's fabric before unplugging the fan. Note that after unplugging the fan after giving the Flex Seal time to dry, some portions of the fabric may stick together once the Flex Seal is fully dried. Pull the sticking portions apart and repeat for any remaining thin spots on the inflatable. You may notice the inflatable is slowly starting to regain its shape, but there is a possible chance that some parts may still sag or the inflatable still won't stand up on its own. This is because Flex Seal does add mild weight to the inflatable's fabric. Should this be the case for the inflatable that you're repairing, you'll need to replace the original fan with a much stronger one. However, if your inflatable does start to stand up properly again, with only minimal support needed, then you may skip this next step. The fan you will need to replace the original one with on your air-blown inflatable depends on the size and shape of the inflatable that you are repairing. Approximately, for 4-foot mini base fan inflatables, use a YEF 80 fan. For 5-foot and 6-foot inflatables, use a YEF 125 fan. And for 7-foot or higher inflatables, use a YEF 200 fan. Remove the original fan from the base using a star head screwdriver and disconnect the inflatable's light string from the fan. To do this, open up the inner chamber of the fan and locate two wire protectors on the inside. Using a pair of pliers, remove the wire protectors and disconnect the light string's wire from the original fan's wiring. It's recommended that you disconnect and replace the original plug as well and discard it if necessary. You'll also need to remove the black plastic notches that hold the wires in place. Use a flathead screwdriver or similar tool to remove these notches from the base fan unit and the base itself. Once you get the inflatable's original light string attached to the new fan's wiring, attach the new fan to the original base and reinforce it into place with at least one screw. Alternatively, you can take the inflatable's fabric itself off the original base and place it onto the new base fan's base. To do this, unscrew the star-shaped screws from the support ring on the old base fan and attach the fabric to the new base fan and its support ring. You'll want to align the base clips on the inflatable's fabric with the base clip hooks on the base's legs. Once the inflatable's light string is reconnected to the new base fan, cover up the insulation with the original wire protectors, or use new twist-on wire protectors. Screw the new fan onto the base fan and your air-blown inflatable should be ready to be used again. If you have any additional questions or concerns, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.